All right. Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Ask Me Anything. We got the crew here. We're going to go ahead and go around the horn and do some introductions here in just a moment, but we'll play this quick video and see you in 14 seconds. All right. Welcome everybody to another episode of Ask Me Anything. Go ahead and get those questions into the chat box. What kind of questions you might be asking? Anything you can think of. You can, ask Jason about marriage advice, or Tess about insurance, or any of us about Ask Me Anything. Yeah, get those questions in there. Anything you guys, need help on, whether it's investing, whether it's real estate, whether it's infinite banking or velocity banking, get those in there. We'll go ahead and go around and do a quick intro. But before I do that, there is a comment. If you guys can see it in the comment box, Sean went and put it inside there. We have our private money tank event coming up here May 1st and May 2nd. I believe it's in Atlanta. Yeah, it is right there. So go ahead and grab that link. It's going to be an awesome event as always. But go and check that out, and we'll see you there. But everybody, I'm Brian Fouts up here in North Idaho, and it's actually finally raining, and all of our snow is gone. And so now my house is a big muddy pit of despair. Yeah, very muddy here right now. Very muddy. This is like we have about 2 months of just pure mud, and then we have mosquito season. So right now we're in the mud season. So with that, I'll pass it over to Miss Tess.
Hey, it's Tess Fulak, and I left it up from the Blueprint training this weekend. I believe that's the original board that they first gave out. That's my second. The only thing missing is I was promised one with cash on it, but lazy cash from the BYOB offices, but it hasn't appeared yet. There isn't one available right now, though. Glad to be here. We're looking forward to however we can help you. And now let's see if I can get the pointing right, to my partner, Mr. Linus.
Thanks, Tess. Hey, everyone. Linus Nolt here from Hopkinsville, Kentucky. Here, maybe a little bit distracted here and there. I'm trying to help a client get his policy approved quickly. Sometimes there's people that need to go through the process quickly for whatever reason. There's always something going on. But today, my wife actually brought me down a treat, a break where I can drink whatever this is. It's not chocolate milk, but it's some other concoction, and fresh homemade bread with honey.
Oh,
nice.
I'm a rich man.
You are.
You are a rich man.
And 4 beautiful girls.
2 things I can't eat: bread and honey.
Oh man, well, That's why you ain't got it. I'm happy to be here, answer any questions I can, give any insight and context. Let's hear from Kevin.
Hey.
Awesome. What's up, guys? Kevin Krause, upstate New York, the lovely state of New York, not far from the team, and one of our favorite insurance companies, Security Mutual Life. We're definitely here, ready to go, answer any of your questions about pretty much everything that Brian just stated. But it's baseball season, and I'm an Army veteran and also first responder. So definitely anybody who's in that realm definitely can answer those questions anytime you got. So let's, I forgot one last thing. Yesterday we had crazy golf ball size hail. I don't know what you guys are going through, but that was insane, super loud, crazy. But we survived, luckily, and on to Jason.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy, wonderful Wednesday. We're here back again to answer your questions, to have fun with all of you, to have fun with each other. So I'm here in the City Beautiful. Grateful to be here. I see we got a couple questions already there. No bad weather here. Like I've heard, we had some 40-mile-an-hour winds over the weekend, but now we're back to pretty normal, 65 in the morning, 80 during the day, and no mud yet, Mr. Fouts. My dad gets that up in New Hampshire. He calls it mud season. So lives out on a dirt road, probably like you do, and real hard to get anywhere.
It's different. It's a different way of living for sure, but doing a lot of projects right now. All right, everybody, go ahead and get those questions into the chat box. Otherwise, Linus is going to start dancing. So just fair warning.
I might start swearing in Amish. I had an idea here.
That's a new one.
Go for it.
That's a good idea.
You were talking about mud. Well, so I grew up Amish, or very, very similar. And we spoke an Amish language. It's called Pennsylvania Dutch, even though it's a dialect of German. So I would regularly hear farmers and my neighbors and stuff complaining about schnee and ice and mud and shice. The literal translation is snow and ice and mud and shit.
I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, we got that up here. Okay, so we'll go into the questions, but yeah, go ahead and get those questions into the chat box. And if this is your first time, by the way, to Ask Me Anything or to one of our events, don't be shy. Ask those questions, because if you have a question, almost guaranteed somebody else has the question or has asked it before, but we want to get those in there. And by the way, this is being recorded, and it will go into our YouTube channel, Chris Nagel's YouTube channel. Typically by Saturday or Sunday, you'll see it inside there. And there's also past recordings there as well. All right, so real quick, so Shauna put this link inside here. So it's a privatemoneyclub.com/money tank for that live event. Just go grab that link and go check it out and get some more information on that. Really good events they have. So first question by AJD Ale says, do you think oil will go down? I have no clue what the price of oil even is right now.
At some point, yes.
I don't know. Yeah, what is it? Does anybody know?
I think it's like over 100 or whatever. I just know gas is like over $1 more than it was, like a month ago.
Yeah.
So
I mean, will it go down or not? I have no idea. I've invested in oil and gas. I've actually invested into direct ownership of oil wells, which I personally will never do again. I did it before when was the last big crash? Like 13 or 12 or something around there. I got in at $145 per barrel. Ooh. Anybody want to remember what the low was back then?
About 20.
Yeah. The operator. So when you have an oil well, someone operates it, and then there's someone that develops it. They walked away. They literally just left it and dropped everything and walked away. Yeah, but I got all my money back via taxes, which is not the best way to get your money back, but I'm still happy. But yeah, so will it go down or not? I don't really know. It depends on why you're asking the question and what the opportunity is you're looking at. So if you're looking at it for an investment, yeah, you got to look at the pros and cons of that. Also, are you investing where you'll make money when it goes up and lose it when it goes down? I prefer to make money when it goes up or it goes down. Those are called options, by the way. So there's different types of options you can have. But yeah, it depends on what you're looking for. As far as like gas prices go, I'll be honest, I stopped looking at the price of gas years ago. Whether it's $4 or $3 or $5, I'm going to buy gas. So, and this comes from somebody who spends well over $1,200 a month in gas because of where I live and the farm equipment. We spend a lot. Our biggest month was $2,000 in 1 month on just gas. So
I spend a lot.
Do you have a policy just for gas?
I probably should. And I got my daughter turning 16 here this year. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Insure her, boy.
Here's what I'm thinking. Oil is a liquid, so it's always moving. It's up and down, and so is its price.
Yeah, I like that. But I don't know. Anybody else have any thoughts on oil prices?
I mean, it looks like it's at 99, like I said, around 100. I'm assuming he's probably maybe, I don't want to assume, but maybe he's talking about the war, right? Okay, maybe if the war ends, maybe it'll go down a little bit, similar to what it was a month ago. Who's just right? We don't know, right? We can only speculate. There's stuff going on with the different countries, the strait there, right? If it opens up, maybe things will start moving again, and things will get kind of back to what it was and a little bit more of a normalcy. So that's what we can hope for, right? We want things to kind of go down. We want things to simmer down. We want the war to kind of go away, and that's what we hope.
Yeah. When I was investing in oil and gas, I paid attention. And what blew me away was we're always talking about war over here and Saudi Arabia oil and Venezuela, all this oil. You know how much oil the U.S. has?
I know.
It is absolutely staggering how much oil is on U.S. soil. I mean, like we really.
AJ is commenting in there that he's trading oil. So that's
yeah. So I used to day trade oil. So yeah, if you're doing that, I was trading it back in COVID era when they locked trading. So it's never happened in the history very often where they stop trading in the middle of the trading day. It's very rare. And it happens when things get way too crazy and the price is going so fast that they're like, we're going to shut down the entire trading floor. They did it to oil and gas when I was actually day trading in the middle of it. That was scary, real scary. But it went down so fast, it went negative, which means that for someone to take, if I had a barrel of oil and I want someone to take it, I'd have to pay them to take my oil. That's how low it went. So yeah, I stopped trading it shortly after that. To be honest, but yeah.
I would say I would offer this because I don't like Brian. Like Brian, I filled up my truck the other day. I was surprised that it was, $30 more than it usually is. I was like, oh, so I did like a guessing game with the family. That's the only fun I had with it. But what I would say is all this stuff will always change during our lifetime. It's guaranteed. It's the one guaranteed thing. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. Things are going to change. What can you control? If you're focused on those things, then you're focused. They're like Trump. Another comment here, Trump focusing on Greenland. Like if we're watching what's happening as they're just moving us around the board and keeping our emotions high and keeping us in fear and triggering that on us, we're not asking ourselves the questions of what do we want? How can we control it? What can we do? What's up to us? So while these are cool questions to talk about, I know we do WTF, we do Ask Me Anything. These are things we're going to talk about. Personally, I don't watch any of this stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
One thing I do think that's pretty interesting is I'm looking at the graph from back in 2000, right? It was down in like the 19s. So the highest it got up to was right before the 2008 crash, and it was like 127, and then boom, it just dropped right where that crash was, right in 2008. So we're getting kind of up to that same point, right, because of whatever's going on in the world. But so you might see another, big drop, right?
What's investing rule number one? Anybody?
Don't lose money.
Buy low, sell high. Don't lose money.
It's just don't lose money. It's Warren Buffett's rule. Yeah. So buy high, sell low. Buy low, sell high. It's like, which one do you want to do, right? Don't do the opposite. Is Warren Buffett in cash right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a lot of cash. So yeah,
there's a guy named Chris Noggle that's in a lot of cash right now too.
Yeah.
Swimming in it.
Yep.
To what you were saying, Jason, I was listening to Earl Nightingale this morning when I walked 12,000 steps this morning, but he was saying about 8% of anything that we worry about ever comes to fruit. So why do we keep worrying about it?
I do it daily. And by the way, Tess, that's normal, right? Like I do that daily. I've had multiple days in this day. Anyone else experience that?
Yeah.
Multiple days in the same day. Like 1 minute, I'm super angry about something. I don't even know what. Another minute, I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed. I'm like, why? I'm in my home, in my studio, doing what I love, meeting really cool people and helping them solve problems. What am I angry about? But it doesn't matter. Like we're all human. We all have all these emotions. So again, we worry about things that are never going to come to pass. We worry about wars that are going to affect us directly today. And people are getting mad at this, right? Because we got people, whatever. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world you can't control. Again, what can you control? What can you give guarantees? And what can you do that's been going on for hundreds of years? I don't know. Something.
Right.
We know. Ask us.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
Yep. All right. Go ahead and get all those questions in there. All right. So another question he asked here was, have you heard about Trump shifting focus to Greenland? So it's kind of interesting. So what Jason just said there, focus. Like if Trump and Greenland, if I hear that, literally my brain just shuts off. I don't care. And here's the reason why. This is something I learned a long time ago from one of my mentors. I only have so many shits to give or F's to give or what they call it. I only have so much attention in a given day to give to things around me. And so I protect that a lot. I try to protect it as much as possible because if I have a bucket that's empty at the beginning of the day and every time I focus on something that fills it up, I want to fill that bucket up with things that I truly want in my life or to focus on. Trump and politics and that kind of stuff, I tend to not put in that bucket. So I have not heard about anything regarding Greenland in a long time. I have no clue about anything about Greenland. And if someone says, I probably wouldn't even care because there's nothing I could do about it that's going to really, I think, probably impact my life. But once again, I don't know enough about Greenland or what he's doing to have an opinion. But
this is the same guy that's day trading oil or trading oil. So a lot of those headlines affect the day trading strategies from minute to minute, don't they?
So the last time I used to focus on news headlines was when I was day trading, and that was it. Once I stopped day trading, I didn't focus on the headlines anymore. But I actually would do that. So AJ, I would probably what you're doing in the mornings, I would go and look at the big headlines and saying, okay, are there any headlines for today that may be impacting it, or any events or any speaking engagements that politicians are doing, and what time, so that I would know that, hey, at 6:45, this is nuts. At 6:45, Trump goes and speaks. Doesn't matter what he says, but the markets are going to go nuts. Up or down or sideways, we don't know, but they're going to go crazy, all because one person is scheduled to speak. And so that's when I would trade, because it was fun. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if AJ, if you want to put any comments in there about what you think is happening, I'd be interested to know. All right, Ron's got a good question here. If I formed an LLC holding corporation and operating LLC, which entity do you apply for funding? I think he says founding, but I'm assuming he means fund. Oh, there you go. Yeah, right there, funding.
What's he trying to fund?
Yeah, well, one, I guess, what are you trying to fund, and what kind of funding? Because I've done a lot of funding. I have a lot of experience in it, unfortunately. But I've had SBA funding, private funding, business lines of credit, personal lines of credit, private loans, business loans. It all really it depends. But in most cases, the entity is not really going to matter, because in a lot of cases, the funding is going to come with a personal guarantee, which is your name being signed on the bottom line as financially responsible. The entity is there, yes, but your name is on the bottom line. And so I have entities that do not exist anymore. The funding is still there, though. It doesn't go away with the entity because of the private or personal guarantee. A lot of SBA stuff like that. So that would be something we'd have to understand first. But generally speaking, it's going to be an attorney question. You're going to want to get it with an attorney, so that whatever you're doing, you have the correct entity structured that gives you the most protection possible. But yeah, to get business funding, that's a process. It takes about 12 months to get a business up to the ability to have funding, and it has to have revenue and typically profitability. A business does to get, and that's Dun and Bradstreet, D&B numbers, same as a credit report or credit score for personal. That's business credit score. So, and I have guys that I work with that do that. But yeah, there's a lot more to that answer, I would say. See, what are the questions we've got inside here so far? Anthony's referring to, I think he's referring to AJ, says maybe he has an IUL index to oil. I've never seen an IUL that was indexed to oil. It's always typically a group of mutual funds or funds, but I've never really seen one that's tied to any kind of an oil index or anything. Anybody else?
I know there's I don't know the guy's name but I did listen to one YouTube video. Starting a company regarding crypto, putting crypto tied to, IULs and that kind of space.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Obviously, a very specific niche, right?
Yeah.
I'm with you, Shauna. Sounds like way too much.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Yeah.
Simplify.
Yep. I even taught day trading at one point in time, and I still think it's way complicated. All right, Anthony's got a good question here. It says, I understand it is probably complex, but are there any software programs, simulators that can give a decent estimate as to how a whole life policy will grow based upon different parameters?
Oh, man.
Yes. There's lots of them. You basically call up one of us and ask us to run that simulation, and we'll do it for you. But yeah, no, so Anthony, so we do have the software that we have access to can run many different scenarios. And you have to typically use the insurance company's software, because every insurance company calculates their illustrations, death benefits, cash values, premiums all differently. So it's very company specific and product specific. So if it's for infinite banking, I would just recommend just having us do that for you, because we would go and run some different numbers for you using their own software to find the best ones. But yeah, it depends on what kind of parameters you're referring to. I mean, for everybody for all the mentors here, I mean, there's not a lot of parameters in a policy illustration other than the ones that we control. Amount going in, that kind of stuff. But generally speaking, the rest of the stuff is kind of fixed.
Yeah, it's possible to illustrate it with dividends other than the current dividends, but there's typically not really a lot of point in doing that unless you're concerned about dividends going down considerably, which is currently not very likely. At least not in the foreseeable future.
And when we're looking, like when you're looking at that to see how it's going to grow. I mean, what you can guarantee with every single mutually owned dividend paying company we work with, it will grow guaranteed every year. It'll always get better. So when I see Anthony's question, it's a great question, but I also think it comes from like an investor mindset. Like if I'm putting my money in the policy, like how much am I going to have, by when, what can I do with it? Unless we're talking about like today, I worked on a couple of small kids policies. So, okay, my daughter's 8. How much will we have by her sweet 16 by putting this much in? Okay, my son's 2. How much will we have by the time he's 16? Now we're talking about life events that we're going to need banking for, and we're going to tie it to that event. Like that's more how we think. I got you guys all like this, everyone here and everyone listening. I got my first, we get a lot of emails. I even use AI to help me, be clearer, kinder, and more concise with some of my emails. But I got ones that was straight up, all the thinking was straight from AI. And it was like, hey, I want a 10-pay policy. I want it like this. I want it with like a Lisa rider or something similar. Bop, 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 bop. And I just respond, that's awesome. It's so cool that you took the time to learn all of this. What is it for? Yeah. What are we trying to do? Why are we stopping it after 10 years? Why are you 38? You know what I mean? Like it was very much like, hey, that's not what we do. And that's kind of my point to you too, Anthony. If you know how much you're going to pay yourself and follow the laws of wealth and what you're trying to accomplish and everything else, then we can do some really cool stuff with you. Yeah. As long as you're looking at like, what is the return? What does that look like? Then that makes it a different kind of thought process, which is a pattern we're looking to help you break.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And his response here was, parameters is more like paid up additions or PUAs, death benefit, 7-pay, etc. And yeah, those are things that we can tweak and obviously manipulate a little bit.
Dump ins, no dump ins, those type of things, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well,
that is what we specialize in, day in and day out, year in and year out. Definitely, we can show you some good stuff.
Yeah, none of us dream in like whatever other language you were trying to learn. We all dream in IBC now for some reason. It's weird.
And then, of course, we also have the BYOB Vault, right, where we can really put that in and see growth kind of long term as well, right? Just another way you can put all your expenses, your income, and everything. We can run scenarios that way as well. But the more specific stuff is through the insurance company and through us with our illustrations.
Yeah, I want to see Craig. So, by the way, Craig is the one that kind of helped build the vault and stuff, and he's the main lead on that. I want to see his head explode. So what I want to ask him to do is create an option inside the vault software where we can put in all our parameters and it will build an illustration. Can you imagine? If we ask him to do that, I think his head might explode. The reason why I said that for everybody listening, there are so many variables that go into building a policy that for us to go and build something that could do that for every single known scenario, I think it might be about 100 plus years before we can have that thing launched.
Yeah. Too many.
Hey, I don't know, Brian. Yep. I don't know, man. We're seeing things that we didn't think could be done. We've heard about things like I have a guy I cycle with that literally has multiple jewelry sites, right? And it used to take him weeks, if not months, to do inventory. And now, like 2 hours, he's got 50,000 things listed with pictures and items, and it advertises exactly what they want to see. And he's just like, we're blown away. So anything we can dream of these days, I really believe that we can create it. Went down the rabbit hole earlier today and had it AI create all these spreadsheets of tracking and how I'm following up and doing this and tied together and give me the results and give me this. And I was like, whoa, let's pump the brakes. Like I just wanted to improve one thing. I didn't need all this to create another thing I'm tracking, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, I can get carried away.
Yeah. Building an illustration with the insurance company's software is all based on automation and complex calculators in their software. It almost has to go to another level of AI mastering the skills and the knowledge required to manipulate those softwares before some of that linking can happen that you're talking about, especially across different insurance companies. But currently, our skills are still very much in demand.
Yeah, yep. Absolutely. All right, let's dive into the next question here we got from Aviana. Yeah. So it's, if I'm doing a yearly or monthly premium deposit plan, do I wait or have to wait until that due date to pay all of it, or will whatever I pay throughout the month or a year satisfy that payment that is due?
Well,
let me try to understand what's being asked here. So by the way, for everybody listening, you can do on the premium deposits that are funding your policy, you can do monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, or annually, and you can change that in most cases during the life of the policy. And so there's going to be a due date. So it's at first of the month or first of the year, whatever that ends up being. So the question here is, do you have to wait till the first of the month or whatever to pay throughout the month or a year to satisfy that payment that is due?
Assuming she's talking about premium, yeah, it would have to wait till the due date. Most companies are going to let you pay 30 days early. Some will let you pay 60 days early. Most life insurance companies do have a side fund that the premium could be put in even before that, to just sit there and wait until the time comes that it can go into the policy itself, and it does earn interest in that side account. So there's options like that. It sounds like I guess there's two different scenarios, whether you're on a yearly or a monthly premium. If you're currently yearly, hey, you got to wait till the next year starts. If you're currently monthly, you could be switching to a less frequent mode like quarterly, semi-annually, or annually, and then pay up the rest of that quarter or that half year or that year, and then wait till the next year. I almost thought she might be talking about a loan repayment schedule, if she set herself up with a policy loan repayment schedule. But now that I think about it, I don't think that's what she's asking.
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind here. Well, so there's a thing called paying in arrears. So when you have like a mortgage or things like that, I think a mortgage is in arrears, which means that when you make the payment, you're in arrears, you're paying for the prior 30 days of service. With life insurance, you're paying it not in arrears, you're paying it ahead of time. So when you pay on the first of the month, that means you now have coverage, death benefit, by the way, for the following 30 days. You pay it for an entire year, you're paying on the first of the year or the beginning of your anniversary policy date. You're now covered for the following 12 months.
Yeah.
So you can pay that in 30 days in advance, 12 months in advance, 6 months in advance. You can do that in advance based on their parameters. You're always paying in advance.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. The one caution, like I'm reading in this, well, first I thought, if you believe what I believe, the wealthy have more choices. Are we all okay with that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that goes back to Brian, the mode of payment. You can do it 4 different ways, and you can change that every year. So if you're paying monthly and you want to change to annual, then you have to check with the carrier. If you're working with us, check with your implementation agent, because you might not be able to put it all in right at once, right? Like, say you're 10 months in, I'm paying monthly, and you're like, oh, I have the whole rest of the year, and you send that in. That's going to trigger an issue. Okay, so you have to kind of know what you picked, how you're paying it, what carrier it is, and make sure that you're communicating with the carrier, at least if you're not with us, with your implementation agent or your mentor. So that way you can get that right. So that's what I would add to that, is you can really change it every year. And if you knew you're going to put a bunch in, well, then do an annual amount. If you knew that you are a little bit tighter, then do it monthly. Do it however you cash flow.
Yep.
And to add to that, it just shows how awesome, right, this design or this certain insurance companies, how flexible they really are with all these different options, versus in the past, they definitely didn't have those. But nowadays, so many different companies are very, very flexible, knowing, hey, what's your minimum? What's your maximum? Hey, if I can't pay this month or next month or whatever, what can I do, right? There's a lot of different options that you can do with whatever insurance company either you're working with or with the insurance companies that we work with, right? We know they are very flexible, and we can definitely help with those things.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So Anthony's comment here. So that is why it is day trading, and take no thought to the morrow. Consider the sparrow. Yeah, you've heard of day trading. Yeah. So it's when you're doing day trading, you're not really worried about the long term of the market. You're just or the short term moves and benefit from there. But day trading is, I'll just be honest, is a very challenging skill. Yeah. hence I don't do it anymore. I wish I did, but it takes a lot of focus and a lot of attention. So yeah, it just takes a lot of attention. So I had a lot of big life events that happened years ago, and I was trying to day trade during those events, and I took a step back and said, wait a second, this is not a good idea. You got to pause. If your mind and emotions are very distracted or very focused on something else, that emotions will bleed over into day trading, I found out. And if you ever take courses, they'll talk about this, because trading is a very emotional driven, but to be successful, you can't let emotions really control you. It's very, very challenging in that regard. Yeah.
I actually, in the very beginning of this, studied 10-10 trading under Sodi, who's part of this team, and I never mastered it. I just had to give up.
Yeah, they say for day trading, about what was it? I think 10% of people that really do it actually do it successfully. So it's a very small percentage. So yeah, but there's always that 5-10% percentage of people, and in everything I see, it's like there's that certain group, and that's where we want to be, which is why we're here. All right. Rylick says, should I go through my coach or mentor for infinite banking, or your agent is what he's referring to, I believe, or direct to the insurance company to see if there's room to add in more paid up additions or PUAs to my current policy?
And it's most efficient to just go directly to the insurance company, the insurer, or your implementation agent maybe can go get the quote from the insurance company as well.
And I do want to applaud you, because you know to go call them first before you send money in.
Yeah. It also depends upon the company too that you're going with, or that you have the policy with, because every company is slightly different. So like for mine, one of the companies I'm with, you can log in and it will show you that amount right there. Like right now, I'm actually in mine right now. I logged in to check, and it says 0 is how much additional PUAs I can put in right now, because I've maxed it out on purpose. But I'm waiting. I'm trying to find the date, but it's somewhere in this month. It'll update, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited to see how much additional PUAs I can put in on the anniversary, because my anniversary is in April. And then it'll say, okay, you can put in this much PUAs. So by the way, for those of you listening, paid up additions or PUAs are how we really energize and build cash value in these policies. And so in mine, I have PUAs in my premium, my monthly premium. Every time I put one in, cash value goes up. But I can also put in an amount above my premiums for that given year, but it recalculates every anniversary. So I don't know what mine is yet. And last time it was actually more than my annual premium, which is awesome. My annual premium.
My policies are like that too, once a year, but there are some people who have monthly ability to do that.
That's One America, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, that's what I'm looking for on mine. But yeah, so if you're with Lafayette, by the way, you can log in and it will show you that number. It should, at least. In most cases. One America, as Tess was alluding to, you got to call them up. They'll rerun the numbers, but it's every month you can do that. It's based upon the premium mode.
There's a little button in One America where you can actually just click on. It's a PUAR button. You can click on ask the question, and it'll send the email right to them. You don't have to send them an email anymore, and they'll get back to you within like a day or two.
Okay, but that's just on our side. That's not something the client has, I think.
I'm not 100% sure on that.
I think that's just something that we can do.
Okay.
Yeah. So either way, right? Like you can just call up One America, call us up. We can get that figured out for you. Yeah, mine shows 0 right now. Bummer. All right. Well, that's pretty much all the questions we had in the comment box. So we've got a few minutes left. If anybody has any more questions, go and get those inside there.
Anybody out there attend the blueprint training this past weekend?
Yeah,
I was going this past weekend. Seems like a month ago to me already. Really? That was really only a couple days ago.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I'm glad they did it. They had to end on Saturday versus Sunday.
Yeah, that was first time Saturday ending. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a little bit better. I'm not sure if anybody else did, but I like that one.
I did like that.
Yeah. But as far as, so just for if you guys are aware, I mean, we have quite a few live events every week. So obviously this is our last one on Wednesday. We have 2 events prior to this one. We've got the WTF in the morning. I think it's at 6:30. Well, sorry, 9:30 Eastern. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
WTF? Yeah.
Wednesday.
And then we've got the Wealth Wednesday webinar at
1 p.m.
I'm Pacific, so 10
1 Eastern. 1 Eastern.
1 Eastern, yeah. So, and then we've got our Monday event. We've got a Tuesday Take Back Control. And I think we now have our Thursday event on the Vault for those that are in the Vault software. What else am I missing?
quick plug. You can see me every Thursday at 3. Brian was an amazing host last week of the Founding Fathers webinar that's been going on for over 2 years. So you can check that out too.
Yep. So we've got some live events going on. Definitely recommend checking those out because that's where a lot of our content is out in the public is through those events. So go ahead and check those out. You can ask questions there and all that kind of stuff as well. And they're all recorded for most cases. They're all recorded. Kathleen was there.
Yeah, Kathleen was there. We're so glad you met, Kathleen.
Yes, so this comment here, I wish I knew about it. Yeah, we have a lot of people that I've been talking to that are in our email list, that kind of stuff, that didn't know about the 3-day because it just didn't see the emails. But yeah, if you're on the live events consistently, you'll hear us talk about the upcoming events. So one of the reasons why I always recommend being on these ones is to hear what we got going on, because you might not see the emails or some of the other stuff. But yeah, if you're on these events, we do talk about them. That's why I put the link in, or Shauna put the link in here a bit ago for the next money thing event we got.
Yeah. So don't miss that one. That one's at the end of this month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's is it May? I think it's May 1st. Yeah.
May 1st.
VIP starts April 30th, then May 1st and 2nd in Atlanta.
Okay.
Nice.
Anything else? Anybody else wants to share? Any guys want to share from the last week or so, or from the 3-day that could give a lot of value to people listening in?
Yeah, Kathleen, what was your favorite 2 or 3 things from the event? Anybody else there?
Or how about anybody else here that spoke? I know Tess we all had segments there. Yeah. So anything that you particularly took away, anything that you felt anyone listening today should hear that you want to share, like Tess or Linus or Brian?
Well, I'll say the same thing that I always say. Insurance companies are extremely stable, and I know that firsthand from living through over 120 audits over the course of my career. And I'm grateful to be on this side because there's nothing better than working with a client and seeing them get that funded policy and take back control. It was great to be on the inside, but to see a family take back control is it's a gift that I don't ever want to stop seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll share something. I think so. I had a call with someone today that was from Wealth Wednesday webinar. So we were talking right after the webinar, and his name was William, and he was like, "Hey man, I'm doing infinite banking. I've got a policy, but I'm frustrated because I have no cash value. It's been almost 2 years, and the agent I just talked to them here this week. They said that." Correct. You won't have any cash value for the first 3 years. Anybody want to guess why?
Because it's an all-based policy.
Yeah.
And high commission.
Yes.
Well, it wasn't. As he was talking about this, I was listening. It wasn't and then he said the magic word, F and G.
Oh, IULs.
Yeah, IUL. So he was sold an IUL. As cash value policy, as cash value. So to use it as infinite banking and to use it as a retirement strategy. So he's 60 years old, 59, I think, when he put that policy in place. And he wants to have it be available as a retirement strategy in 10 to maybe 15 years. How much do you think he should be putting into that policy, or would he want to be putting in for it to be a retirement strategy down the road?
Quite a bit, as much as he can get approved for.
Right.
And I'm guessing you're going to tell me, and the punchline here is, how much was he putting in, Brian?
$250.
$300 a month.
300 per month.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's like the AI that reached out to me. It was $3,600 a year is what they wanted to put in. I'm like, and it was for investment and buying homes and stuff. I'm like, when are you investing in buying homes for $3,600 a year? You know?
Yeah, that's what I also said to this gentleman. I was like, so when you were talking to, and I'm not saying, hey, I'm not attacking you, man, but where in this whole process did you feel that $300 per month was going to get you that outcome? That's what I asked. And he goes, well, I thought I had the ability to put in more. And I said, it's an IUL. You do, actually. You have the ability to put in more than 300. But do you know how much? No. Do you know how much it goes to cash value? No. I asked him all these questions. His answer to every single one of them was no. What do you think I felt was the biggest problem with that?
His agent not telling him shit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, Linus, there it was. If the agent on his side did not do a very good job or didn't even do a job at all of educating their client on how this thing is supposed to work. So part of why you're all here on this presentation, why we're on the 3 days, why we do all these live events is to give you guys that information so that when these things come up, you already have the answers. You know how to operate this thing called infinite banking. Like this gentleman had no clue how it worked, how to function it, how to use it. He had nothing. And that was why he was frustrated. And his agent couldn't answer the questions. Or I'll be honest, would not answer the questions.
Well, they probably couldn't either, Brian. I mean, to be fair, like you got to think, sorry, Tess, you got to think traditional sales and traditional life insurance, especially when you hear things with, F&G or IULs and things like that. There's not the depth of conversation, problem solving, holistic approach. Even though we're never giving financial advice, tax advice, legal advice, we are sharing what we've done. All we're doing is turning around saying, hey, this is how I did it. This is where I was when I did that. Like my tomorrow webinar is going to be about stopping the bleeding.
Yeah.
I was just literally writing about how, it didn't matter how much I made. It didn't matter how many hours I stayed at work, 7 to 7 every day. And, I was trading an extra 30 hours a week for more work to make the same money, to have a side hustle on the weekend so I could have spending cash. I mean, if that sounds familiar, if you earn a lot of money and you do well and you think, what the hell? Like, why isn't this working? Like at some point you have to say, oh, well, hey, maybe it's not an earning problem. Maybe it's a system problem. And to Brian's point, when you're just selling policies to sell policies, when you'll give illustrations out just to give illustrations out, then you're never connecting with the person to be able to say, well, what's your problem? Where are you? Where are we going? Where do you want to be? Right. And that's Brian's frustration because we feel like everybody should be taken care of versus sold something.
Yeah. But if you think about it, that illustration from that other insurance company, it wouldn't have looked so pretty when they showed them that there was no cash value for how many years?
Well, yeah. And here's the thing. So it did show cash value.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah. But there's something else. There's something else called surrender charges.
Yes.
That mean that you can't borrow that cash value.
Yes.
It's like saying, hey, here's this cake. Looks good, right? Yeah, it does. Okay, I'm going to put a steel box on top of it. You can't touch it for 3 years. How good does that cake look now?
Oh, we got a good question. I'll give you that
one. So real quick. Kathleen. So she was on the event. We're at the event. So loved it. Obviously, Jason, inspirational. Tess and Linus, very confident in her choice to do infinite banking. And then she's one of my clients as well. So, and they're working on the family constitution, which Jason is awesome right there. So I love that. And they're also working with Kevin, not Kevin Krause, by the way.
Bertel.
Yeah. So on the 3-day event that we just had, there's a lot of opportunities to work with other individuals that we just know. Some of us are working with them for whether it's, asset protection or estate planning or even investment opportunities or strategies. So that's what she's referring to as one of those individuals that was on there. And that's definitely something I want to get into as well with Kevin.
Same, Brian. Actually, same, Brian. That's one thing I'm looking forward to is being more liquid and then eventually learning from Shortell. I mean, the guy's amazing at what he does. And by the way, we're not giving any advice on this. We're just, saying what we're doing in our own lives because it's a process. The whole thing's a process. So like Kathleen, that's amazing that you guys are doing all of those things, working on your constitution. If you need it, reach out to me directly. You can get my information from Brian or just email me at Jason@JasonSipple. If you want more information on that, because you can tell that was the question that started keeping me up at night. When I wasn't dreaming about IBC, I was worried about what the hell happens when I die? What do my boys do? What's next? How do I pass on the systems and processes? And that became the next problem to solve. So,
yeah. And then there are recordings you can go and get for most of the event too. So if you want, as Jason said, reach out, we can get you that link to that. And it's pennies to watch it. Definitely recommend it. All right. Aviana, another question here says, once a loan is out against your policy, would you have to make a payment that goes towards the loan first and a separate payment to the actual policy premium to pay the base and PUA? That's called a premium, by the way. Or would one payment work? So the way I explain this, and I want to get some feedback on this, I explain that they are two separate transactions, two separate ones. You view them separately, and just keep them in their own little bubbles. That's how I look at it. So it's not one payment; it's going to be two separate ones. And so the difference, though, is the loan repayment is 100% up to you when and how much and if you make that payment back. The premium has a structure to it because that's what keeps the policy functioning and active and building, but the loan is up to you.
It's exactly how I explained. 2 buckets. Who else wants to take that?
Well, the life insurance companies that we use, they do let you submit both payments in one shot where you're selecting, hey, this much base and PUA maybe, and also this much towards the loan. So it's possible to submit them all in one transaction where it's all one bank draft, but they are still separate things. They're being processed into separate places, essentially, on the policy with the life insurance company.
Think about one as building your system greater, right? Like you're capitalizing your system, and the other one is you're replenishing your system to use it again. That's the 2 differences.
Yep, I like that.
And we keep talking about it being separate just to make sure it doesn't get misapplied.
Yeah. And actually, this is something I haven't done yet, but I need to do it. So and Lennis, you can correct me here. I believe that you can actually schedule your loan repayment to be automatic. Because right now with mine, I just log in and hit a button and how much I want to pay. But there's a form you can fill out. This is Lafayette, by the way, I'm referring to. You can have it be automatic, right?
Yeah, automated monthly drafts.
Oh, okay. I got to do that. So you can automate the whole thing, or you can just be manual if you want on when it comes to the loan. Right now, mine are all manual, but I might just automate that here soon. So interesting.
More time to chase spiders.
Yeah. I got spiders everywhere on here now. I got more turkeys and mice than anything else. Kind of funny. All right. Any last minute questions for anybody else before we call it a Wednesday? So go ahead and get those back in there really quick. I see
our friend FCAT in there. Hello.
What's that?
Felix. I see FCAT in there. So hello, Felix.
There we go. So Margaret Ross says, is it best to pay PUAs or loan first? I love this question. We get it fairly often. We just had it, I think, actually, recently. Anybody want to take this one? Yeah. So by the way, for anybody that's listening, so what we're referring to here is when you have a policy, whole life policy, infinite banking focused, there's something called paid up additions that are built into this. You can put them in via the premium. You can put them in via a dumping. You can put them in via just extra PUA sometimes on a policy. But what she's asking is if you have the ability to put in additional PUAs and you have a loan outstanding and you have some funds to put into the policy, should it be to PUAs first or to the loan payback first?
See, I think you're going to get different answers from different people because we all have a little different look on this. I myself like those PUAs, but you want to pay yourself back as well. So I guess it really depends on we like that word a lot. We haven't said that much today.
It depends.
Right. That's the best answer. Like if we had a new background, it would just say, it depends. It depends. I'll give my quick take. I mean, I have an investment out now. We're expecting the money to come back. And when it comes back, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go look to see if I can expand my system, how much PUAs can I put in the 5 policies. And then the next step will be paying back loans or moving it to the HELOC, whatever makes the most mathematical sense. But personally, I just want to expand the system to prepare for the future.
Yes.
Like and to have more legacy, frankly, to have more legacy going towards that next stage when I'm not here anymore.
And I like what he said, too, if you didn't catch it. And then he's going to do mathematics to see which step is the next best step.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love growing these systems.
One is long-term, one is short-term. PUAs are always a long-term thing for me. Paying the loan back is short-term. But a couple of key differences here. When you pay your loan back, what happens to your death benefit?
Same,
exactly the same. when you pay your
Actually,
loan
no,
back,
it goes up by the amount of loan you pay
Right,
back.
what you put in.
That's
yeah.
it.
I was going to say that, is the collateralized, but generally speaking, the amount of it doesn't change. The total death benefit doesn't change. When you pay a PUA, what you're doing is you're permanently changing the policy. You're permanently increasing the cash value, permanently increasing the death benefit.
Well, you guys want a visual? This is why I do
All
it.
of that is on a guaranteed basis, y'all.
Yeah,
Yes.
here's my visual. Just it's very, very complicated. Okay, here's your original contract. Yes, I still track things on paper. Here's your original contract. When your dividend buys a paid up addition, or you add an additional paid up addition, what it does is it stacks another contract on top of it, and that's why over time it just stacks all these paid up one-time additions on top of your contract.
Now, my last question, so Margaret, to answer this one, is this is kind of the answer that I try to follow personally as well, is it depends upon what the loan is doing for me and where the funds came from for this that I'm putting back in. If the funds that I'm having came from whatever I'm doing with the loan, so I'm investing the money into a real estate project and I'm getting proceeds from that real estate project, I put that back into the loan.
Let's ask Linus a question now. He's eating some honey bread.
Yeah.
Ask him a question right now. I'm getting jealous.
Love that.
His wife is so good to him.
Yeah. But if I have I don't get tax return refunds, but let's say I got a tax refund, so I have some extra money in my pocket all of a sudden, and I've got a policy loan, and that loan is in a temporary project over here that is just doing its thing, and I've got some extra funds here, I put that into PUAs. So for me personally, it depends upon where the funds are coming from that I want to put into the policy. Is it going to dictate where they go? But the best thing to do is if you have a situation, call up your mentor or agent and have them work with you on that. And give
Brian, you're reading my mind. I was going to say exactly that, because that's always like when I tell someone who started their first policy or someone that started their fifth policy, my questions are always the same. You know, what are we trying to do? What's going to happen in the future? What are the options? What are the trade-offs? What is a manageable floor if it's multiple policies? Are you trying to expand your system? Are you trying to protect your family more? Are you trying to have more cash value to do something else with? So you want the money growing? Like, what are you trying to do? Just like Brian said, get a call with your mentor, reach out to your mentor, text us, email us if you're already working with us, and we'll help you.
Having options and flexibility is awesome.
And anybody else who's signed up for Trump's text messages, I got the Artemis 2 for All Humanity launches tonight at 6:24, which it won't be dark enough for me to see it at that point, but it'll be that way, right outside my window. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. What time is it at?
6:24. So another hour, 57 minutes, right?
Gotcha. Yeah. Maiden Blues, is Ethan still on the team? Yes.
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 Yeah.
He's a rock star too. So
Yeah, we just in our previous meeting.
Yep. He has been on the Ask Me Anything for a couple of weeks. I think is what she's asking.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we made it to the end.
we did. I mean, if no one asked the question, we'd still make it to the end. So
Yeah.
I'll share something.
See?
I was recently helping a close family member apply for a policy. It's actually a sister-in-law. Their family's cash flow had grown a bit. They already had a policy, but needed more room for money to be stored in and to be guaranteed, to be growing. So we went through the application process, and there were some health challenges to where it was not going to work for infinite banking, and it was a bummer. It was also kind of an eye-opening thing for them and for us, really. It's like sometimes people that seem healthy are not as healthy as you think, or there might be something going on that might rear its head soon that can be seen kind of early on the labs. And so that's something that they can go address with a doctor. That's the good thing. But even just now, to go ahead and get the policy now, I was able to run their case kind of through a reconsideration type of program with the life insurance company, and still get them placed with a great policy that's going to work right away for their tax refund to land in, and to it also insures their kids a little bit. It's just a little rider that's attached to it. So it was a it was a very cool achievement for me to help people close to me. I help a lot of people all day, all over the country. But most of the people like that are close to me or in my area are not open to the concept. They're not open to learning it, or outright think it's a scam, you know. So it's cool when there's people close to me that I can help.
That's awesome.
Yeah, congrats, Linus. That's awesome. That's amazing for your sister-in-law, family, and yourself.
I love it.
Very cool.
Yeah, if I mention what I do and where I live, people will get me kind of cross-eyed. Like,
Yep.
I'm in North Idaho, so it's a bit different up here sometimes. And then we'll touch on this one last question. Aviana says, for investments, how much return do you look for if the loan from the policy is charging 5 to 6% interest rate? That's a great question. Tess, what's the answer?
Well, you want to be above the 5 to 6%. You want to make sure you're making that arbitrage. There's an amount above the 5 to 6 so that you are making more than what you're paying back in interest. Now, as a general statement for investments right now, I probably look 10 to 12%. I was higher for a while, but not lately.
Remember, Aviana, thank you, Tess. You're earning money on both sides, though, because that's why it's the and asset. You're earning money in the policy where you have a guaranteed rate. You're probably earning a dividend on this side. And then like Tess said, if she's getting 10% and they're charging 5 or 6, you're making 4 or 5% here. So that means you're making, 5+% here, 5+% here. You're making 10 overall. But you have this part's protected investments, always open container. I mean, as some of us are witnessing right now, you don't know when the money's coming back all the time sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So you just got to watch.
Yeah, and it depends. I mean, this is not financial advice, but because you use the word investment. So assuming that you're using the loan for an investment, there's a lot of variables that have to be considered outside of just this basic question, such as your tolerance for risk, your knowledge of the investment, how much control do you have, your past experience does not dictate future experience, your returns, all that kind of stuff comes into play. But also, like, what's your goal with the policy? What do you want to have it accomplish? And does that help you do that? And lots of factors, but that's where a quick conversation can help us get a better idea of what you're trying to do so we can answer that question.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, we're not giving financial advice here. We're not licensed quite for that. But so definitely keep that in mind. Another place I would certainly look, just bring this closer to home maybe for some people, is if you have any debts, if you have loans or credit cards out there, most likely their interest rate is higher than what you would pay on a policy loan. Or maybe it's amortized, therefore it's a larger amount of interest than what this simple interest would be on a policy loan. So that might be your greatest return that you can make, is to make what the bank was making on you. So certainly look there before you get too serious about looking into investments. That's something I kind of learned the hard way. It's certainly something you might want to look at. And then I wanted to touch on what's her name that was asking about Ethan's calendar there. Last time you looked, it wasn't open for all of April. I just opened his calendar and it is open for at least 50% of April, maybe more. So that it probably has changed. Or maybe he's got a different calendar now. So certainly, shoot him an email or let one of us know.
Is that for Ethan or is that for us? Because our calendars are usually open about 2.5 weeks in advance. Maybe Brian dropped the link in. I wasn't sure if that was an Ethan request or
above it. I'll repost it. But I mean, my calendar's open. I mean, people can schedule time with me today.
No, she's asking about Ethan's.
Okay, just making sure.
But yeah, if you can't get a hold of Ethan, also, you can always reach out to your money mentor or your primary agent as well, and we can get you in touch with someone on the I team if you really need to, or your mentor can help you with whatever question you have as well. But yeah, there's the link right there. So it says beyourownbanker.com/AMA-RR, which is just, so that's the link right there. Yeah, so go and grab that, and you can grab a time with one of us, by the way. And then last one, Maiden Blue says, this is interesting. I was looking to borrow for my solo 401k, but due to the amortized interest, the arbitrage wasn't there. So I'm trying to understand what you mean by amortized interest on a 401k, but I've done 401k loans. Actually, it was a solo 401k loan, by the way, as well. And I didn't mind doing it because I was paying it back with interest. So my 401k was growing no matter what. So I didn't mind doing that. But if you're looking to borrow from a 401k to do like infinite banking, yeah, we'd have to walk through that to make sure that it makes sense number-wise to you. I'm not going to give a recommendation on one way or the other, but you got to remember, when it comes to arbitrage on infinite banking, there's a few more moving parts and pieces, I think, than some people realize.
And the one thing I'll say about interest for most 401ks, and I would check everyone's contract, your interest is going back into your account, which is not the same as with the whole life policy.
Yeah, it's a bit different. Yeah, because if you have the money working for you, you're earning dividends. There's interest on the policy loan. You're also earning interest outside of the policy. So that's right off the bat. There's 3 right there that you got to make sure you're aware of. And then if you're doing a 401k loan and paying it back with interest, your 401k is still growing. It's just coming from you. So it's not a bad thing per se sometimes if you do the math on it, because that's growing. The money is now working for you in a policy growing there as well. It can be a good thing. By the way, what I'm referring to is with the 401k is you can do a version of infinite banking with a 401k and not life insurance. It's not nearly as powerful, but Chris has a video out there somewhere where you can use different financial buckets for infinite banking. But the policy is going to be by far the best vehicle, the best one. And anybody want to take this last question? I know we always have last questions. So could you use your regular expenses to pay on credit cards, then it down with a policy loan, then pay off the loan? So let me kind of back up and try to clarify that question. So regular expenses, so gas, milk, clothing, etc., pay those on a credit card. So use a credit card for your daily expenses, and then pay the credit card off with a policy loan, and then pay off the policy loan, I think is what they're saying.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if that's what we're saying, I would just say no. I mean, not until your policy is 10, 20, 30 years old would you consider using expenses for it. First, you follow the laws of wealth. Like right now, that's telling me you're last in line for your money.
Right.
Tell me everyone else is getting paid other than you, if that's how we're thinking about this. So switch that, like start paying yourself and make that the thing that has to happen. Like that's as important as having the electric on or the water, right? Or whatever it is. So
there you go.
Switch your order.
And Akiva, yes, this will be available in Chris Nagel's YouTube channel. Typically on Saturday or Sunday, it'll pop inside there. And all the prior Ask Me Anything recordings are also there. So yes, it will be available.
And this is available on Facebook and Steven's page, or
right away.
It's live on my page right now, so it'll probably be there as well. So
yeah, usually on mine, but not right now. I got to fix that.
That's why I log in every time and I disappear and come back.
Yep.
There you go.
All righty. Well, everybody, I appreciate all the questions. Appreciate everybody hopping on and being on here for a few minutes longer. With that, we'll let you all go. But yeah, anything you need, just reach out to us. I put our link here in the chat box, so grab a spot there with one of our team members. And look forward to seeing all of you on our next Ask Me Anything next week. So with that, take care, everybody.
And let Vernon know that bread smells really good.